Hello and welcome to episode 3 of From Zero to Dreamfort. Last episode we did all of our embark preparations and landed in this spot. In this episode we'll be setting our dwarves up for success, choosing a site to break ground, and actually doing some digging. So let's check back on our checklist here. What's next? Okay, let's check our setup help for post-embark tasks we have to go through. We've already set up all of our control panel configuration. So let's check down here. Let's go to our nobles screen and assign some nobles. Now we just have everything assigned to our expedition leader at this point. We don't need a sheriff or a hammer quite yet, but they'll take manager, medical dwarf, broker, bookkeeper. Sheriff, hammer, and messenger we can keep vacant. Now let's check over on labor and specialize those miners. Very, very important. You want to keep them on task and digging until they are done digging or we really need some hauling help. So we also want to set them as engravers because they're going to be doing that later. We want to unassign everybody from Fisher Dwarf. We have enough food for now. Well, we can re-enable them later. We really need them focusing on hauling at this point. Planters, we want him to be our planter and only select to do this. And that is just about it for now. Standing orders. Okay, here we have to make some modifications to keep things moving smoothly. Automatically weave all thread, we'll change that to no automatic weaving. We'll have manager orders that take care of that. And we want to leave some thread left over for our hospital. And if we just leave this on, then it will often use up all the thread and leave nothing for the hospital. In our chores, we of course want to turn off the nasty stuff. We'll just leave them doing water, cleaning, milking, and feeding patients. And then in other, we will do only farmer's harvest to concentrate that skill on the people that actually benefit from it. I also like to change a few options here for sieges and forbidding. We're going to be using civ alerts to keep all of our dwarves safe during sieges, so a lot of this auto forbidding stuff actually works against us. We can just automatically claim things. We'll just leave it all on auto claim because we don't really need to worry about citizens running out into there. We'll have them safe in their civilian alert burrow. Now, we only ever have to do this once because now we can save it and apply automatically for new embarks. So that is the last time you ever have to go through our standing orders. You can take a look at our kitchen. Our ban cooking all has taken effect, and all this is banned. And finally, take a look at stone use. Now, flux stone gets auto-enabled here if it is a layer stone down below, but we generally want to save that for steel production later, so we'll deselect these. Okay, and we are done with setup here. Let's go back to our checklist. And orders. Okay, these are the manager orders that we'll need for the first few blueprints, just to get ahead of the game. Often we will lay down a blueprint and then in-queue the manager orders, but for the first few it's much better to just have it started right away. So I just copied Control-C from the spreadsheet and I'll paste it right here into the DFHack launcher and hit enter. And there they are. We do not need this order for the anvil. That got generated because we're placing down a forge, but we can remove it from the list here because we won't actually need to build one. Okay, now let's choose a spot. Let's zoom out a little bit just to get the lay of the land. There's definitely some room here. This is too narrow down this way, so no good spots along here. Zooming back up, we can possibly fit ourselves in here and definitely could up here. But maybe I think we'll just stick close to the wagon to make it easy to unload it. Also, staying near the center of the map gives us faster access to any trees we might cut, and also gives us a little more of a space buffer when an invasion enters our embark, so we have time to run back to safety and close up our gates. All right, zoom back in, and let's choose somewhere around here. GUI quick fort perimeter, we can copy that and paste that again into the launcher, and that will open the perimeter blueprint directly. Let me zoom out again here. Where should we place this? You want to leave a little bit of extra space around your fort. You especially don't want to get too close to a upper level right here, because then they could possibly jump over your walls easily. So right about here seems okay. Don't actually apply this. This is just for figuring out what our eventual land requirement is going to be. So instead, hit L to load a new blueprint, and let's bring up surface 1. And this we can just apply in the spot where our mouse was hovering, right there. This will pop up some handy messages for what to do next. We also have this documented along the side right here. So let's hit OK and exit out of Quick Fort and zoom back in. So what did that do? It laid down 2 staircases here. If you go down, this is going to be our central stairway going all the way down about 20 levels, giving us a nice guide for laying down future levels around the stairs. If you hit Z for zone, you can see it lay down for zones. Here's our pasture. Our dogs are going to go here. Welcome area for new migrants. This is where our barracks is going to be, and this is where our birds are going to be our egg layers. So let's get our animals assigned here. So in our main pasture, we're going to want our yak cows. Over here, we want our ganders in that center area. And you can apply the geese to these first 2 if you want. They'll also get auto-assigned by nest boxes if you just wait. And our dogs. Dogs go around here. And you can't contain cats, just leave the cats roaming. All right, are we good? I think that is it. Now, when we hit spacebar, our miners are going to go grab their picks and start mining down. We do want to be aware of any aquifers that might be beneath us. So we need to watch them as they go down. And when they hit an aquifer, we need to pause and take care of that. So in preparation, we can do a couple things. You can either let them hit the aquifer and cancel the digging, and if you do it that way, then you can bring up Quick Fort again and bring up, or Dreamfort Spiral is a good thing to look for. And you bring up the central stairs here, and this gives you a little blueprint to lay down the designation for more stairs, like that. The downstairs are on the top and bottom, and they go down 1 level, and the downstairs on the left and the right. This is a spiral staircase. So you can do it that way, or we can pre-mark them as damp dig. Let's undo that. Shift U. Oops. Shift U. And now that's gone. Let's pre-mark these as damp dig so that we'll just watch them carefully and stop it and pause it. And let's mark everything here for damp dig and here for damp dig. We don't know exactly where the aquifer is going to be, but it's probably going to be near the surface, so we'll just mark it down that far. Okay, and we're going to hit unpause, and the miners are going to go for their picks, and the woodcutter is going to go for their axe and clear out this area on the surface. And we are going to watch carefully for when they hit that aquifer so we can take action. Okay, I'll get into mining mode so I can see when the aquifer is there. Aha, here it is. Okay. So we have hit the aquifer. I'm going to let them dig that out just a little bit. Okay, and we see there's no aquifer here. So first thing we want to do is go down 1 more level and designate the rest of our fort. So here is the convenient blueprint for laying down the majority of the fort. Dig all. This will put in digging designations for all the levels except for farming, which will go farther up above. So we'll just paste it in here and run it and click right here. This dug out industry, services, guild hall, suites, apartments, and the crypt. So right click out of here, just check that one more time. This is our damp one, so this one's going to be clear. This will be industry. This is services, 4 levels for our cisterns down here. This is guild hall, suites, and apartments. 3 levels of apartments, and then 1 level of crypt, and then we have enough stairways, so we are all good here. These blueprinted, putting it in air quotes, different use of the word blueprint, is going to be useful for our cisterns. And why don't we get that set up right now as well? So we know that our aquifer is in this level. So let's figure out where we want our aquifer tap to go. We want that to come down right around here. A little farther up. Okay, here. And land here. Okay, so I'm going 1 level lower than those blueprinted lines, and then have this come up to the level. We only have 1 level of aquifer, so this will go to the level below the aquifer. The aquifer tap is dug with ramps, which will dig out 2 levels. If you have 2 levels of aquifer, then you can dig it in the lowest level of aquifer and get twice the fill rate. But since we just have 1 level of aquifer, we'll dig this in the level below, and then the aquifer level will drip down into our aquifer or into our collection designations here. Okay, so let's go down a bit farther and hook this up. Let's mine that and turn these blueprints into standard selections. We actually do want that dug, and we'll dig at priority 3 and come down here and go there. Now the level below this, we need this to drain off the map somewhere. So what corner of the map are we closest to? We'll just select there and pull this off to the side. Oh, we're pretty far away. I guess we're close to the center. It looks like we are closer to the bottom. Barely. Okay, it doesn't really matter which way we go. Let's go to the left because that's just a little nicer here. Okay, let's go all the way over to the left and dig that out as our drainage route, and bring this up to here. Okay, let us mark this 1 stairway as a blueprint so that it does not get dug before we're ready. And then finally, in this level right here, which is the level below our aquifer, we're going to bring up aquifer tap and lay that right there. Actually, let's lay this down at a lower priority. Let's go priority 2 and click there. Okay. And that, yeah, now these are all priority 2. Because when they start digging this, we want them to concentrate to dig on this. Okay, our aquifer tap is in place. Our industry blueprint is all set up. You may also notice that all the downstairs here are dug at a higher higher number, lower priority, so that they will not dig these downstairs until they finish digging out this entire area. This is why it's important to designate the level before they dig down past that level. If they have access to more levels at the same time, they will waste their time running up and down these stairs and digging out a little bit of each level, then running to the next level. So make sure you designate before you hit the stairs. Pause as soon as you know which level is going to be dry enough to designate your industry level. Okay, let's unpause and let them continue down. Oh, one more step here. This is the aquifer level, and we need to wall this up to make sure it doesn't leak into our stairway. Now, the reason this is a spiral stairway is so that when you do get leaks, it'll have a landing on each level for the water to spread out and evaporate on. If you just dig a straight stairway all the way down, any water that leaks in there will immediately fall to the lowest level and make it impassable because the water will be too deep. A spiral staircase will make that not happen. It will also prevent your dwarves from falling down long levels when they get when they dodge or get scared or for any other reason. So spiral staircases prevent deaths. Let us mine priority 1 to make sure they immediately do it. And we're still in blueprint mode. Let's take that out. And let them mine that. You'll notice that this was not in damp dig mode, so the corners got undesignated as they were exposed. That's actually what we want here. We don't need those to be dug out. Let's build constructions, walls, and fill this up. Okay. Now our other dwarves, who have nothing else better to do at this point, will immediately rush down and build these up and get it all plugged out before the water overcomes us. Now, this is also a sand level, so why don't we take this opportunity to set up a sand zone in this lower corner. And to make sure that doesn't get covered with moss when we later expose the caverns, let's put a floor grate on it. We don't have any floor grates yet. Let's go queue those up. Rock grate, and then they'll just get to that whenever they get to that, and they'll fill that up. Okay, so where are we now? These guys are digging out this level, and we see this is a dolomite level. Dolomite is great for flux, but we don't want to waste it. Or do we? Now we need to make that decision. Normally, when you start digging this level out, you'll get a non-economic stone. But we need to decide now whether we want to use our quartzite up above and hopefully get non-dolomite farther down, or designate dolomite as a non-economic stone that could be used for furniture. Let's just not do that for now and see if we run out of stone. Okay, going back up to the surface. This is also a good time to set your hotkeys. If you hit H, you can bring up the F1, F2, F3 shortcut menu. So let's set this as front gate and set that to this location. Go down one level. This is going to be our farming level. Go down to our industry. This will be our industry level. You don't have to name these if you don't want to, but I do find it is convenient. This is our services level. This is our guild halls. And that's all we really need to name. We don't have a lot of reason to jump down to the other levels, but these are the ones we'll be jumping to most often, so we just have to name those out. So F1 to jump back to the surface and figure out where are we on our list here. So let's lay down surface 2. It says lay it down when the trees are out of the way, the initial trees that were designated for chopping, and it looks like our wood chopper has done their job. Let's put down surface 2 right here and click. So we've already ordered these items on the checklist, so we're fine there. And right click to cancel out of there. So now we have our starting stockpiles and our starting workshops. So let's unpause and let them get to that. They're running up to get the blocks that we had in our wagon because we don't have any other blocks yet. And the first thing you should do is assign these to the workers that you want focusing here. And the mechanic. And we've designated more trees for chopping. My wood chopper is getting to that. Getting a wooden wheelbarrow is an important first step. Let's make that top priority. As soon as they are done chopping the trees in the immediate vicinity, which I believe have been chopped or designated at priority 1, yes, they should go and build that wheelbarrow so we can start hauling stone to our stockpile here. So first, matter of action is to haul over the food. Since we have prioritize enabled, that becomes a very high priority, and they have decided to do that first. And now that they're done with that, they're going to start manufacturing things. And you, all right, you have manufactured our wheelbarrow. Now might be a good time to go back into our work details and create a new work detail here for stone hauling. Just for stone hauling. And this is going to be stone. If you create a bunch of custom work details, you can save them here and load the ones that you have saved in previous forts here. But for now, we just need stone, and we're going to assign that to our expedition leader and specialize them. So from now on, or until we deselect this, they're only going to be focusing on hauling stone. Because that is going to be very important for keeping all of these workshops humming. Okay, now that the trees in the area have been chopped and the miners came up to dig our ventilation shafts, I didn't mention that when I first laid down the blueprint, but we designated some channeling here because what we're going to be building in this lower level, in our farming level, are areas where food can rot. Now exposing these to the sun at this point will make them so they're open air, or designated as open air, and miasma won't form if anything rots in those areas. So let's bring up Quickfort and lay down Farming 1. And right here again in our stairway. This is all designated at a level 3 priority, so our miners stop what they're doing down here, which is all level 4, and come up and dig out this area. While they're working on that, let's check on our surface dwellers. We're getting a head start on building blocks and doors and other items. And here we have nest boxes and pots. It seems like our nest boxes have already been laid down. And how are we doing here? We already have fertile eggs with our nearby ganders. This one too. So we already have our first brood brooding. And I think that is a good place to stop this episode. We'll let them do a little more hauling, and I'll see you in the next episode where we dig deeper.